Hello and welcome back to Football Daily, where today we're bringing you the worst Premier League 11 2018-19 edition. Let's go. Goalkeeper, Joe Hart. We promise we have some more interesting picks for you, but Joe Hart is unavoidable between the sticks. 4 years ago, Hart was England's number one and had just earned his second league winners' medal. In fact, between 2010 and 2016, Hart won 4 out of 6 Premier League Golden Glove Awards and missed just 12 out of 228 possible games in domestic competition, ranking him among the game's elite stoppers. However, when Pep Guardiola arrived at the Etihad, he informed Hart that he would no longer be first choice and gave the keeper the choice whether to stay or go. And he must regret his decision. A poor loan at Torino was followed by a spell at West Ham where he sat behind the league's worst defence. As a result, he allowed 101 goals in just 55 domestic matches over those 2 seasons. Sean Dyche and Burnley rescued the keeper from loan purgatory in summer 2018, and after 6 games, Hart has conceded 10 goals. That's 1.7 a game, much worse than their rate of 1 a game in 2017-18 and 1.4 in 2016-17. Perhaps the problem isn't the players in front of Hart after all. Defender, Col Jenkinson. Now 26, Col Jenkinson has been at Arsenal since 2011, meaning that just 3 players, Ramsey, Koscielny and backup keeper Emiliano Martinez, have been in the senior squad for longer than the right back. A dual English and Finnish national, Jenkinson earned a single cap for the Three Lions back in 2012, but never developed into a reliable defender for club nor country, pretty alarming given the calibre of Arsenal's backline. In fact, Jenkinson has never reached 15 league appearances in a single season for Arsenal and has played just once in the Prem for the Gunners since 2014. 2 loan spells with West Ham brought in regular football, but the Irons decided against making the move permanent, and a switch to Crystal Palace fell through due to Jenkinson's wage demands. As a result, his most recent outings came on loan at Birmingham in the Championship in 2017-18. Even in a lower division, Jenkinson could only manage 7 games for the Blues, and he's spending the 18-19 campaign with Arsenal's reserves, as Unai Emery looks for a backdoor to push him out of. Defender, Denis Odoi. In all the excitement about their £100 million summer transfer spree and the bright young talent of Ryan Sessegnon, it's been easy to miss how poor Fulham's defence has been on their return to the Prem. After 7 games of the season, no team has conceded more than their 16, and that's nothing new, as in 2017-18 in the Championship, there were 7 teams with better defensive records than the Cottagers. Only 6 squad members played more minutes than Denis Odoi that season, and he put up passable defensive numbers, with around 3.3 combined tackles and interceptions per 90. However, on moving to the top flight, those figures have tumbled, dropping to about 1.2 a game. The problem is the defence facing wave after wave of attacks and require their defenders to make goal-saving plays, as shown by Maxime Le Marchand and Callum Chambers, who both win possession around 5 times a match. Odoi is simply not pulling his weight. With Chambers and new signing Alfie Mawson available to Jokanovic, it seems unlikely that the 30-year-old Belgian will continue to be called upon this year. Defender, Phil Jagielka. Back in 2016-17, some Everton fans were debating whether Phil Jagielka was still good enough for the club. The England defender gave away 3 penalties in the league that season and had failed to make 30 league appearances for the 3rd time in 4 campaigns. But 2 years on, the veteran is still a Toffees regular, despite his clear decline in quality. Jagielka is one of just 3 players over 35 in the Prem, along with Brighton's Bruno and Petr Cech, and time has not been kind to his abilities. While 3 years ago he was making around 4 tackles and interceptions a game, that number is now closer to 2, and he makes fewer blocks and clearances as well, meaning that he is less useful even in a more limited, conservative type of defence. With Mason Holgate promoted to the first team, Kurt Zouma brought in on loan, Yerry Mina arriving for around 30 million, and in addition to established regular Michael Keane, Jagielka is finally set to be consigned to the scrap heap. After nearly 400 appearances for the Toffees, let's hope Jags is remembered for the player he was, and not the one he is now.
Congratulations, you've made it halfway. But if this isn't your bag, come and check out Continental Club, where we discuss the hottest topics in European football, baby. And as ever, don't forget to like and subscribe. Vanish.
Midfielder, Moussa Sissoko. Not being good enough for Tottenham is one thing, but you can make a reasonable case that Moussa Sissoko is not good enough for the Prem altogether. The Frenchman joined Newcastle from Toulouse in 2013, and the Magpies finished 10th, 15th and 18th in the following 3 years, with Sissoko missing just 8 games in that time. However, a decent performance in the Euro 2016 final somehow enticed Daniel Levy, one of football's smartest operators, into wasting 30 million on the lanky midfielder. And, unsurprisingly for those of us paying attention, it's been a foolish enterprise. With 11 goal involvements in 83 games for Tottenham, Sissoko has been less productive in London than at any point in his career, and on average he's regained possession only around 1.7 times a game. Pretty unimpressive given that he loses the ball about 1.3 times per 90. While he made 59 league appearances over his first 2 years with the side, Sissoko played only 2,400 minutes, meaning that every 60 seconds cost Tottenham around £12,500. And to make matters even worse, he earns nearly £100,000 a week, making him almost impossible for Pochettino to offload. Midfielder, Mark Noble. Insult Mark Noble, and chances are you'll have to deal with legions of angry West Ham fans, telling you how underappreciated their captain is, making Noble the Irons equivalent of Jack Wilshere at Arsenal, and probably at West Ham too. A Hammer since 2000, when he joined the club as a 13-year-old, Noble has made more than 25 league appearances every season since 2007-08, and has routinely chipped in with a handful of goals each year, scoring in 12 consecutive league campaigns to date. 3 years ago, he was making around 2 key passes a game, a number that would have ranked him in the Prem's 30 best creators, but now that figure is around 0.7, placing him 184th in the division last year. That's in the bottom half of the 359 players to produce at least 1 key pass in the league. More importantly, Noble has gone from making 4 tackles and interceptions a match to producing just over 3, leaving West Ham dangerously exposed, with the club's defence conceding more than 60 goals in each of their last 2 campaigns and ranking joint worst with Stoke in 2017-18. He may be a loyal servant to the club, but perhaps it's time for West Ham to give Noble the chop. Midfielder, Marou Fellaini. To be fair to Marou Fellaini, the beanpole has his uses. The Belgian scored 4 goals in 16 Premier League appearances last season, giving him a better strike rate than Ryan Giggs managed in all but 2 of his 23 full campaigns at Old Trafford. Even more impressively, those strikes came in just 600 minutes on the field, meaning he contributed to a goal every 153 minutes, almost exactly the same as Eden Hazard. However, Fellaini encapsulates Man United's decline from being among the world's great clubs to being $1 billion Burnley, without a plan or a style. He was involved in 9 aerial duels a game last season, the most since he arrived in England, suggesting that his sole contribution was to provide another big body in the box when United were in need of a saviour. Not only did Fellaini see out his initial Red Devils contract, the club has now renewed his deal twice, and seem committed to a future in which the 30-year-old plays a key role. Sorry United fans, but the pain appears to have no end in sight. Midfielder, Demarai Gray. Despite his fans in the English press, Demarai Gray is one of a long line of overrated homegrown players, following in the footsteps of such superstars as Ross Barkley and Jordan Ibe. Always described as one for the future, Gray is just 2 months younger than Dele Alli. But while the Spurs man has averaged a goal every 3 games in his career, Gray has managed just 1 every 12 games, with only 15 strikes to his name at the age of 22. So perhaps goal scoring isn't his strong suit? Well, it's hard to tell what is. Last season in the Prem, Gray ranked 68th in the division for chances created per game and 50th for completed dribbles, making it hard to see what he adds to Leicester's attack. And his place could be under threat. In his first 7 league games for the Foxes, James Maddison has already been involved in 5 goals, more than a third of Gray's output in 83 appearances at the King Power. And the former Norwich man is 6 months younger than his celebrated teammate. Of course, Gray has plenty of time to turn into the player he was already praised for being, but the arrivals of Ricardo Pereira and Rachid Ghazal will only make it harder for him to get minutes in the future. His ascent to stardom has to start now. Midfielder, Killian Hazard. No, not a football Twitter mashup of Mbappe and Hazard, but a real live boy. Killian Hazard is the 3rd brother of 4, with the Chelsea star the eldest and Thorgan the 2nd. He joined Chelsea's development squad in 2017 from Hungarian side Újpest, and his move could have been a reward for his hard work in Europe's less glamorous divisions. Except for the fact he's already 23, and scored just 7 goals in 52 appearances in Hungary. That poor record suggests Killian was actually signed to keep Chelsea's biggest star happy, and it's not the first time. The attacking midfielder entered the Lille Academy in 2011, the summer after the club had won the double and Eden had been named Ligue 1 Player of the Year. He never made a senior appearance for Les Dergs, instead returning to Belgium, and despite 5 full seasons as a professional, Killian has just those 7 career goals to his name, a meagre return for an attacking mid. On loan in Belgium again this season, Killian looks to spend his career seeing both parts of his name associated with the achievements of better footballers. Forward, Christian Benteke. With 69 Premier League goals, Benteke is the 9th most prolific player currently playing in the division, but the Belgian has seen his stock fall dramatically since his Aston Villa days. In his 6 full seasons in the Prem, Benteke has reached double figures 4 times. But in 2017-18, his form dropped off a cliff, as he netted just 3 times in 30 games. With those goals coming from 73 shots, the Palace man's conversion rate sank to a measly 4% last year, down from 14% the year before, when he bagged 15 in league play. And expected goals makes him look even worse, as he racked up chances worth around 11 goals, meaning he underperformed by 8. That was the worst result by a striker in the Prem last season, as by comparison Alvaro Morata, who was widely panned for his campaign, scored 11 against an XG of around 14. Benteke was nearly 3 times as wasteful. His ability to continue to get shots off in the box demonstrates that the striker retains some attacking instincts, but he may have simply lost the finishing. We hope Benteke can rediscover his shooting boots before he gets Palace into trouble. Forward, Jermain Defoe. One of the 8 players above Benteke in the Premier League's all-time scoring charts is Jermain Defoe, who, with 162 goals, has the best tally of anyone remaining in the division and stands just 13 behind Thierry Henry. However, his 4-goal return in 2017-18 made it the worst season of his career, with the only less prolific one coming in 2000-2001, when he played a single game for West Ham as an 18-year-old. Much heralded when he arrived at Bournemouth on a free transfer in 2017, Defoe made 24 league appearances, but started just 11 games and played only around 1,000 minutes, with 14 squad members playing more. And with 4 goals and just 1 assist, he was involved in a goal every 217 minutes. That made him less productive on the pitch than Callum Wilson and Junior Stanislas, who both contributed to a strike around every 2 games. That's an issue when Defoe is picking up a wage of around £100,000 a week, about the same as Wilson and Josh King put together, and 4 times as much as Ryan Fraser. Defoe will continue to be rated according to his past achievements, not his present quality, but on the strength of Eddie Howe's team selection, the former international is no longer good enough for the Cherries. So there you have it, that was our worst Premier League 11 for the season 2018-19. But what do you think? Is there anybody we forgot? Stick them down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.